Voila!
Ah, there we go.
Zip.
You never, you never quite know what's going to happen with Instagram lives and how it's going to go. But uh, big welcome, John. Thank you for joining us this morning. Before we dive in, just want to say for everyone listening that this is part of the build up to the annual Yes to Life conference in London. It's an online, sorry, it's an in person, not online. It's an in person conference in London on September the 26th. It's the biggest, most transformative cancer survivorship conference anywhere, I think, in definitely Europe, probably the world. We've got a world class panel of speakers there all through the day. And the highlight for me, I'll be speaking there in the morning and the afternoon, but the highlight for me is this four men campaign in the afternoon of that conference. We've got four men on stage being interviewed by Robin and myself. These are four men who were handed, ultimately a incurable cancer, prognosis, who went on to survive. And we are learning how these people achieve what they achieve. And this is just a snapshot of that on the conference in September. We'll be diving into it in detail, taking questions from the audience, from you guys. But it's setting out fast. I think we're 85% full. So if you're thinking of joining us live in September, do be quick before the tickets all sell out. And John is one of the four men. We spoke to Tim last week, I think it was, whose story was phenomenal. John's story, no less phenomenal. So big welcome, John. How are you?
um, I'm well. I'm good. I'm actually good. But every time I go to speak, or I'm on a situation with live, or I go onto a stage, before I go on,
Yeah,
I'm just nerves, and
yeah,
I was sitting down about an hour ago listening to Paul McKenna talking on public speaking and how
yeah,
to sort of
yeah. Well,
how to
hopefully,
envision yourself being there and
yeah.
and being calm. It's a really weird thing, Sam. I
Well,
spent my life, well, at least half of my life, as a touring recording musician, um,
okay.
concert touring and making albums. And the the thing that really kind of gets me is that I always used to get really nervous before I went on stage.
Yeah,
But the bigger the audience, the less nervous I was.
yeah. I'm the same. Yeah, yeah,
I did a talk last year at Oxford University, and I was in a breakout room off to the side, and I thought I was going to be in the auditorium because that's what they said I was going to be talking. And it was a tiny little room, and I could see everybody's eyes. There were
yeah.
fluoros on, and I was shitting myself.
Yeah, in a big
I,
group, it's more kind of anonymous in many ways. You're more protected in a. Well,
yeah,
hopefully in September there will be, in that. I mean, the auditorium. I don't know if you've been there, but where the conference in September is, the auditorium there is just the most phenomenal space. It's big, so it's almost like a kind of Greek Colosseum. It's epic. So to dive in, so John, tell us briefly. What your story is relevant to the cancer diagnosis
yeah,
and prognosis.
yeah. 2018 Easter. Um, I slept for 3 days solid, day and night. And it was Easter. My wife wanted to go out traveling and have fun. Um, yeah, I was first diagnosed with stage 4, well, metastatic prostate cancer.
Okay.
Um, I was told I had 6 months to live, and I would have to do chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and hormone treatment. And I just refused chemo. I'd rather just
Yeah.
go holistic. I've been holistic for the majority of my life. I go to a doctor to find out what's wrong with me, and then I sort it
Okay.
through
So
food or whatever.
so that was in 2018.
That was 2018.
Wow. And
Um,
the prognosis was 6 months.
6 months, maybe a year.
Okay. So what's that, 8 years ago?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So um, I just refused chemotherapy. I saw four oncologists, and the fourth oncologist, rather than telling me what was gonna happen with me, he said, "Well, who are you? You know what's your life? What do you believe in?" He just went into me. He wanted to know about me, and we ended up doing abiraterone instead of chemotherapy.
Okay.
But he said I'd have to do 8 weeks of radiotherapy, and he said you need to be really prepared for it. And I was running. I had a yard, a cherry orchard at the back of where we were living, and it was 400 meters around. I did 4 laps of that, so I'm running a mile.
Yeah.
Every morning I was doing 100 push-ups without stop. You know, I was fit, I was healthy, I cycle, I swim. Um, but as we went into the radiotherapy, um, I was going. There was a slippery slope. I was just going down like that,
Okay.
and um, after about 6 weeks, I was not in a good space. And then by 7 weeks, I was using a walking stick, and so it was really bad. Just after we finished the radiotherapy, I had this lump come up on the back of my right leg, and it was a melanoma. There was a secondary melanoma.
Right.
So they removed the melanoma. They couldn't find the primary, and they said this is really old. It's probably from your youth. And I surfed when I was young.
Ah,
In
back of the
the
leg, face up.
yeah, back
Yeah.
of the leg. Yeah. So in the searing hot West Australian sun.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so that did not surprise me, but it spread to my right groin, 2 tumors in my left lung, and 12 tumors on my liver. So at the same time, I had stage 4 prostate cancer and stage 4 melanoma.
I mean, that is a massive, massive tumor burden.
Yeah, it's huge.
I mean, in
Yeah,
terms of, over the last 15 plus years, I've interviewed and analysed and assessed hundreds and hundreds of these ECAPs, exceptional cancer patients, people that should have died and didn't. That tumour burden that you've just described might be the most burdensome of anyone I've spoken to, not just one stage 4 incurable cancer, but another one on top.
yeah.
Wow. And was that also in 2018?
We're in 2019 now.
Okay. So then what
Um,
happened?
everything took so long to happen.
Yeah.
So I think it was about October, November, I started immunotherapy, and it wasn't working. So they said, we're going to give you double immunotherapy, Ipi-Nivo. And several weeks later, I turned a dirty color of yellow and rushed off to hospital, and I had autoimmune hepatitis, severe autoimmune hepatitis.
Was that from the immunotherapy? Was that just
Yeah,
something that? Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. My autoimmune system just went crazy and
Right.
started taking my liver down. My liver was already under stress,
Mm.
but then it took, So I spent a week in hospital on a drip, steroid drip. I'm trying to calm that down. At the end of the week, the oncologist number 2 came in and said, I can't do anything more for you. We can't give you any more immunotherapy because it'll kill you outright. And um, wow, going back there, man, is just really
Yeah. Even
brings it
after all
up.
these years.
Even
It's,
after all these
yeah.
years, yeah. So he said to me, we can't do anything more for you. And I said, well, I've been in this room meditating, doing affirmations and qigong all week. And I've come to a decision. I'm going to be cancer free by April 2020, which
Okay.
was which was 4 months away. And he said, John, you're so deep in the forest that if you've got a functioning liver by April, I'll be
Mm.
happy. If you're still alive by September, then maybe we're in with a chance. So,
But
um,
but this is it for me. This is exactly where the magic happens. It's where all of these statistics and obstacles are put in front of someone. You're going to die. This is what's going to happen to you. And that person turns around and say, I respect that and I respect your opinion, but I choose my own reality. And that reality is
yeah,
that I'm going to be here and this is how I'm going to make it happen. And that kind of inner that inner belief seems to be the hallmark of what makes you guys become exceptional. That determination, that genuine belief that I don't care what is put in front of me, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I developed a lot of agency by this time.
Mm,
And I developed agency pretty quickly when people started telling me what to do.
yeah.
And I just went, whoa, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old and explain this properly, because you're talking about stuff that I have no idea that you live and breathe by day after day. Um, so anyway, by March, I went in to have all my scans, and mid-March, and he called me into his office and said, I want to show you the previous scans first. And he said, there's the 2 tumors in your right groin. Here's the new one, nothing there. Here's your left lung, 2 tumors. They weren't small either. And he said, they're gone. And he said, here's the previous liver scan. Here's the new one. And he said, I don't understand this. It's like they've exploded and all that's left is embers. He said, there's no activity in there. He said, whatever you've been doing, just keep doing that, because whatever that is, it
Okay.
works. And then he said, those magic words that every cancer patient wants to hear, you're in remission. But,
But that's from a clinical perspective, that's impossible. You can't go, in terms of, the very kind of statistically driven, almost quite negative viewpoint, that is, an impossibility. That's what makes stage 4. And obviously in the conference in September, what I'm so excited about is to have all you guys on stage and talking about how you did it, because the end point is, and I think that's your catchphrase, isn't it? It's not what you achieved, it's how you achieved it, is it not? What is that?
Yeah, look, the one thing that you were saying about what we all have in common, and it's the mind, it's the
Mm,
mind, it's the determination. It's, I, I, I've developed a system, a plan, a direction, a pathway, a roadmap of what I can do and of all the things that I believed in, that I
okay.
think I could believe in. And that was that was the turning point where I took control for myself and
So would
became.
you so would you say that, so you did 101 things, but would you say the catalyst for all of those things was ultimately agency, was empowerment
Oh yeah.
first,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and then everything comes from that?
Well, once you've got agency, then you can sit with what you've got. You can sit and look at yourself and what's happening, and then you go, well, okay, I don't want to live in fear of this.
Mm,
In fact, early on in the piece, I had all these people talking to me. You've got to fight this. You're in a war zone. You've got a battle. And I said, "Whoa, stop! I please." I shocked myself with this one. No one's to say this to me anymore. You're never to use those military terms
yeah.
with me again. And the other thing is, I grew this cancer all on my own. I'm going to understand why it's there, and then I'm going to ask it to leave. Now, the majority of people, that's a bit, what's the expression, woo-woo.
Yeah,
You know?
but the proof of the pudding's in the eating. You did it.
Yeah, I did a lot of eating.
But was there, because one of the questions I get asked the most
Yeah.
in online and in kind of conferences and live events and whatnot, and it's an important question. It's quite a brutal question, but it's an important one because everyone has to go through it when they're facing the situation you face. Was at some point when things were looking really dark and you were being told, if you're here in 8 months or you're alive in a year, that would be a really good success. Was there a time in that period where you believed that you would die, or did you cultivate the mindset that no, that will not be my reality?
Yeah, I had to develop that. Exactly on this point, in Australia, there's old folklore that the Aboriginal elder or the witch doctor or whatever they want to call him would get an animal bone, and if they pointed that bone at you, you would die. And being told, you've got 6 months. You've got 6 months. By the way, the person that told me this had a pen. It was one of those big clicky pens,
Yeah.
and she was going click, click, click,
Oh,
click, 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 while she's telling me I've got 6 months to live, right? Oh,
right.
man. Um, yeah, yeah. How do I answer that?
Yeah, it's a really hard. I mean, maybe it's one to hold on off for when we're on stage together.
Maybe it's,
Maybe.
I developed a whole system, and it's mostly like all the things I could, believe in. But when looking back on it, I realized what I call now my 5 A's. And the first A was acceptance that this is what they're saying to me.
Mm,
And at first it was like, it was like chaos in their head, and and it was really upsetting. But it was just my mind. I couldn't focus on anything. It was just going around circles. So, well, once I accepted it, then I could actually do research.
mm,
And then the next thing was developing the agency. And then from that it was autonomy, because
yeah.
I'm being told with all these people about, in their life, in their job, what I will do. And I'm going,
Yeah.
hang on, I've got a lifetime of being me. I've been a
Mm,
vegetarian since I was 25 years old.
mm,
I've, I'm fit, and I'm generally healthy. And so I had to, that's something to hold on to, and is not to forget that one. Um, and then I realized the most important thing was action, and daily action.
yeah.
And I read Chris Wark's book,
Oh, yeah.
Chris Beat Cancer, and then I bought his course, and I went through, and one of the things he said was, you do the same things every day religiously, and if you change that, you go, well, like, I'm just going to go down the pub and I'm just going to, drink a lot, or I'm just going to, going off path, off piste, um, you go back days. So just think of it. If you
Yeah.
change that, you'll go back. You've got no yardstick anymore. So
Mm.
I developed self-control and self-discipline. I mastered those two things. And I just did the same thing. It was Groundhog Day, man. It was
Yeah,
like,
and it's so interesting you say that, because that's one of the things I encounter again and again and again, because I think the risk of the exceptional cancer survivorship space, which is where, I love to be in terms of talking to you guys.
mm,
The first thing I think is that, and my mentor at the hospital used to say this, it's not exceptional survivorship. It's normal survivorship that's only mobilized exceptionally rarely. And I
mm,
believe that, because one of the things that I see most consistent when I talk to you guys is people think it's like magic and it just happens, but it's relentless hard work. It's
yeah,
like anything in life that's worth having that's good, whether it's
yeah,
a business or a good relationship or exceptional health. It
yeah,
requires relentless effort. And that's
absolutely.
that's this, isn't it? You
Yeah,
have to keep on going. You have to get up in the morning, go again, and try and get the whole protocol from the moment you wake up to the moment you
yeah,
go to bed
yeah,
dialed in. It's that
yeah.
relentlessness, isn't it?
Absolutely. I was up at 6 a.m. every morning. It was just beautiful, peaceful. And I'd go
Mm,
to the living room and I'd start all my processes. And the first thing was make a cup of tea, cup of green tea. And then I would do Qigong, Wim Hof breath work, and the day went on from there. I will leave this for the conference.
yeah, yeah. But this
But
this is why,
I
yeah.
found I found 30 things that I could believe in. 30 things. But there's not enough time in a day, so I
Mm,
brought that down to 16 things, and I did 16 things every single day.
wow.
And it was just one thing after the other. It was just clockwork.
Mm,
And fasting, and 16 hours a
yeah.
day. I mean, it was amazing. I did that for 3 years.
Okay. So but that's, again, this is why you guys are so priceless, because if you're living with cancer, like I was speaking to someone on the weekend, a neighbor who's just been diagnosed with brain cancer, and she popped round for a chat, and we were talking about the specifics and the diet and this, that and the other, but I
Yeah.
said all of the peripheral stuff is essential, but it has to come secondary to the mindset. And when you guys start speaking, where, you know, whether you're here now on Instagram looking at you, or whether you're in the conference, or all the other work you do, we're looking at someone who was told by you know, an expert that you'd be dead in a year in
Yeah.
2019. We're now in 2026, and you're not just here, you're here as a vibrantly healthy individual. It's
Mm.
not a case of, is exceptional cancer survivorship possible? It's, we know it's possible.
Yeah.
Everyone has the potential for it. It's how do we maximize each person's potential to make that their reality? And that's what you can give that no one else
Yeah.
can, because you know how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not easy. You know, I've had people contacting me and say, "Can you help me?" But you know, the things people have to do is get their head straight first.
Mm.
And if you can't get your head straight, I mean, one of them really sad situation where a young guy, he was just in his early 30s, and he had three little kids at home,
Oh.
and he had his cancer. He was having chemotherapy, and he said, I want to be there for my kids, you know, I want to be there. What do I need to do? And I said, I can't tell you what to do. I can tell you
Mm.
what I did, but there's one thing I can tell you. You must get right for yourself, and that's just get your head straight, and you know, really understand that this is going to be not what your life is. It's
Mm.
going to be different. You're not running in parallel. This is going to change your life. You're going in almost the opposite direction.
Yeah.
And then, so he was one of these, he worked in a mining company, and they were flying in and flying out, and they worked
Yeah.
really long hours. Um, and he didn't change anything. When he was out, he was just drinking lots of beer. They ate steak and potatoes, and then
Yeah.
he'd go home. And, you know, three conversations later over the year, he was gone, you know,
Yeah.
because he couldn't change the mindset, which is,
Mm.
yeah,
But
it's
that's
really,
why, for me, the most powerful book on healing ever written is nothing to do with health. It's, I know you may have come across it, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
mm,
Yeah, this Austrian doctor's account of the Holocaust, and how when you change your mindset, you have the ability to change the reality around you.
yeah,
And that book you can pick up whether you're battling, you know, cancer, whether you're battling depression, whether you're battling, you know, any, you know, any bereavement, anything. It's that the key to exceptional is within the way you perceive the world around you. And yeah, someone just wrote there, you know, positivity is the most empowering tool, and it is, and it's a learned
absolutely,
skill, isn't it?
absolutely. One of the most important things is that I can share with people is if you're in severe illness and it looks like you might not survive, what is the thing that you love doing the most? The one thing in life that you love the most, and it's, you know, something you can do,
Yeah.
and do that as much as you can
Mm.
every single day if you can, and
Yeah.
just fill yourself with energy and love, you know,
But
and
what's so interesting now, and I'll be talking about in my talk at the conference, is that we can now track that neurochemically. Like when
yeah,
someone has like this profound reason for living, there's a subtle, you know, it seems subtle, but the difference between wanting to live and not wanting to die is profound. And we can
yeah,
track when you have that, you know, I am so deeply motivated to survive because of X, Y, and Z. We can now track that neurochemically with things like neuropeptides, and you can see how belief becomes biology
yeah,
relevant to, you know, survivorship. And it's such an exciting time now because we've
yeah,
got causation.
yeah.
And
When, when you don't have all the tools and instruments, you know, biofeedback is the way to do it. You
mm,
know, I could tell what was going on with me by how I moved, how I thought, and so there was so much energy going into changing those negative thoughts into positive thoughts.
yeah, okay,
It's hard work, man.
yeah. And I
It's
know,
really hard work.
you know, in these 25 minutes, you know, we've only scratched the surface, but that's why that panel in September
Yeah,
is going to be life changing. Because if you, anyone listening here live or on the recording, if you or someone you love is living with cancer, the most powerful thing you can do for yourself in terms of agency is learning from the people that went before you. And the
yeah,
reason that, you know, Robin is the you know, the founder and chairman of Yes to Life. You know, when we were designing the conference, we really, you know, prioritize, we have to have ECAPs there in an open panel discussion, and we can, Rob and I will be interviewing you guys, and we'll be going into the real details and way more than this session now, but the ability for you guys to ask questions. So I really implore anyone, if you are listening to this and you can get to London, please do come to that conference before it sells out, because you'll learn things that you can't learn anywhere else. You can't learn from books, you can't learn from the internet, you can learn from someone who's walked the walk. So please get a ticket before the doors close, because it won't be coming back. And to meet you and to to be there live will be phenomenal. So John, I'll let you go, because I know you're very, very busy. But I'm
recording a video series to go with my books.
Okay. Well, I'm so grateful for your time, because this has just been so phenomenal. Like, it's your story is phenomenal. You're phenomenal, and what you have to offer the world is priceless in terms of supporting people who are living with cancer. So super grateful for your time this morning, but even more so for obviously coming along in September to be part of that panel, because it's value beyond money, and we're grateful for beyond words. So I hope that's been. How do you book onto the conference? If you head to the Yes to Life website, there is a direct link to sign up, but be quick, because I think we're at 80. I think it's 85% full. Okay, so please don't miss out. This won't happen again. Right, I'll let you go. John, have a great day. Best of luck with your video recording, and I will look forward to seeing you in September in person.
Me soon. I'll have a hang there. Nice cup of tea.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Hey,
bye-bye.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.